Ready for a magic trick? It didn't work.
Oh, that is.
Did it still not work? I'm not good at magic. Hey guys, what's going on? It's Alex from Fitment Industries, and today we're talking about why people still run lowering springs, because people still get mad at others because they do that, and they're like, why didn't you buy coilovers? That's what you're supposed to do. And like, we're coming in. We're coming in to tell you why it's okay. It's okay to still buy lowering springs. Like, it's frowned upon now. It's weird. Like, this is a weird discussion. It's like vinyl. Like, nobody, not even 5 years ago, like 3 years ago, people would get so mad. You can't put vinyl on your car. Nobody likes vinyl, blah, 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 blah. And the early 2000s came around, and you know, the Fast and the Furious, everybody had vinyl, then it went away, and now it's coming back, but people still don't like vinyl. But the thing is like, it's okay for things to come back. All right, I see you people on Instagram out there with your VSCO edits and all that sort of stuff. Like, things come back, and that's all right. And that's why we're talking about why it's okay that people still run lowering springs, because there's a couple different reasons that we probably don't think about, and we're here to teach you. Wheels, tires, suspension, fitmentindustries.com. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button, because we post a lot, and you could be missing some great stuff like this. Whoa! In general, we've been seeing a rise of lowering spring chit chat and things like that because it's become more common in the scene. So we decided to dive in and figure it out, and we did. So spoilers are ahead anyway. Number one reason that people are running lowering springs now is just because, I hate to say it, boys, I hate to say it, but a lot of newer cars have advanced suspension from the factory that not a lot of people want to get rid of. For example, like some of the newer Camaros and Mustangs have this really fancy thing. It is called magnetic ride control. And you might be wondering, saying, Alex, what is magnetic ride control? And kids, magnetic ride control is a chassis and suspension technology that adapts and adjusts to the shock absorbers of a vehicle in real time in response to changes in terrain in order to deliver optimal shock damping for best possible driving experience. English. Pretty much magnetic ride control doesn't use like mechanical valves or other small moving parts that are prone to wear and tear. Instead, they use like a monotube damper that has this fancy like magnetic, it's got this fluid in it that you can pretty much control with your mind like Magneto, but the ECU is Magneto is pretty much how it works. But anyway, there's some sensors in ECU for the system that pretty much controls that magnet juice in the shock, and based on how much fluid is passing through the electromagnetic coils in the system, it changes the viscosity of the fluid, and it'll either result in a stiffer or softer suspension depending on what you're choosing. The sensors involved can sense body roll and other handling situations, and then they communicate that with the ECU, which then goes like, oh boy, there we go there, guy. We're just gonna send her through the corner. I'm ready to roll. And it's not exactly how it works, but for simplicity's sake, it's pretty close. So yeah, in short, this magnetic ride control and a lot of systems like magnetic ride control, depending on the car that you're looking to buy, offers one of the best of both worlds style mentality. It gives you great control for responsiveness without sacrificing comfort. It allows you to run to the track and then take the car actually home without feeling like your spine just got ripped out of you. And that's why a lot of people that have newer performance cars just prefer lowering springs on their car, because then they can keep their factory shocks and get a lot of that lowered look. Then that's pretty much it. Because when you really think about it, plus most of those new OEM high performance suspension systems actually do pretty good. I mean, let's be real. If you drop $70,000 on a car, do you really think like a mid-price point coilover system is gonna outperform a brand new suspension system? Do ya? Do you really think it's gonna happen? And that's really what it comes down to, especially with newer European vehicles, and even some of the mid-2000s vehicles come with airmatic suspension. E55s and AMGs alike have that sort of suspension system where people really don't want to lose the comforts of having an air suspension system in them. A lot of times people will resort to using lowering springs if the vehicle will accept them and still keep all of the integrity of the vehicle without actually losing any of the features. There's nothing worse than buying like a used car that had a lot of fancy tech, but then most of it got taken out in replacement of coilovers, because you're like, gosh, I just really wish that button in my center console actually worked. It's the same reason for a lot of different people choosing to go with things just such as lowering links instead of coilover systems for cars like the AMG. And another big reason is just the fact that they will continue to be probably one of the most affordable options that you can get out there on the market. Lowering springs are not that bad, okay? They're not bad. They're actually pretty good. So when you're looking out and buying coilovers, if the main reason that you're going out to buy coilovers is just for looks, that's pretty cool. But lowering springs kind of do the same thing. And depending on what sort of suspension it's also going on, you could argue that you're gonna get the same thing depending on like your platform that you're looking at. However, you know, coilovers are a great thing. They just have a tendency to capture a different market. We've talked about in the past how coilovers are something that you should use to fine tune your suspension rather than just installing them and just praying that they work, because that's the whole point of coilovers, is that you can fine tune them and you get yourself a nice set at fitmentindustries.com. Shameless plug, I'm just gonna keep going. And that's really what coilovers are meant to do. But if you're just looking for a lowered look without having to break the bank, I mean, coilovers are going to be where it gets into a little bit of the gray area, because lowering springs can do almost the same thing. Coilovers were designed for track use and improving the stability of your vehicle, and unless you're Jasper, they can also be used to just take a beating as you go all around the country trying to drive your static car across bridges and things like that, and just praying the whole thing doesn't blow up. But whatever. So lowering springs are one of those things where we see a time that has like passed and then it has come back. And this is one of those times where we do definitely think that it's coming back. Electromagnetic suspension, magnetic ride control, air suspension, all that sort of stuff is coming back in a lot of different vehicles, especially performance vehicles that we see out there that are brand new. A lot of times what used to be an SRT4, a lot of people are now buying Camaros. For what a lot of people used to buy Termis for, they're now picking up an E63. These guys and us and gals and everybody in between in the community are buying newer cars that have newer tech, or did at the time, and they don't want to just dump and take out everything that made the car so cool. And that's where lowering springs come in. They're one of those pieces that you can switch out without necessarily having to ruin an entire section of what made the car so special to begin with. So if you run lowering springs coilovers, or you're thinking about it, check out fitmentindustries.com and drop a comment below on what you'd like us to see talk about next. This is to answer the lowering spring hate that I see going on down there, but it's really not that bad, I pinky promise. I'm Alex from Fitment Industries. Don't forget to subscribe. We will see you later. Peace.